to order. Tuesday, September 3rd, 2013. Roll call.
Beach. Here. Brown. Here. Murphy.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Bain. Here. Warner.
We'll give the council about 5 minutes to look over reports to sign, then we'll do the pledge of allegiance.
Why's that?
I need in there.
Oh, well, I can move.
I can turn it off. Huh? I can turn it off. Shut it off? I shut the speaker off. No, I'm calling the AC.
Gotta put those under lock and key, huh?
Don't you walk in here and there's a popsicle hanging off.
In our office down there, they just put in a dummy thermostat. The girls keep moving it up and down, up and down. Doesn't mean anything, but it just gives them that little cycle thing saying, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, I know it's not water.
It's 7 of you.
No, there. I'm ready.
Well, if everybody will stand, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, we'll have the reading of the minutes of the last scheduled meeting.
Minutes of the regular meeting held August 6, 2013, 7:03 p.m. Mayor Tran called the meeting to order with Beach, Brown, Scott, Spain, and Warner answering roll call. Murphy was excused for personal reasons, as was the administrator, Andy Yeager. A few minutes were given to council members to review the reports. Everyone joined the mayor in the Pledge of Allegiance. July minutes were read and approved. Bills, mayor's court, water and sewer reports were presented and approved. Under the mayor, Mayor Tran announced that Cherry Arbor is sponsoring a car show on Saturday, August 31st, rain or shine. The show starts at 3 p.m. Winners will be announced at 6 p.m. The event will feature live music and food. Proceeds to benefit the Cherry Arbor's Residents Activity Fund. He also informed council and those present that town yard sales will be held 3 different weekends, beginning August 16th and 17th, then Labor Day weekend, August 31st through September 2nd, and finally September 21st and 22nd. There will be no need for a permit on those weekends. The mayor introduced Tina Knott from the Union County Chamber of Commerce. She gave a presentation on the Union County Bridge Festival and other events coming up in Union County. The mayor presented Cindy Harlan representing the United Methodist Church. She spoke to the council about having youth events at the ballpark. On Friday, September 20th, having a concert at the church during overtime, and on Saturday, September 21st, at 3 on 3 tournament at the ballpark, and a dinner to be held at the church after the tournament. The youth would also like to do some sprucing up, such as painting the picnic tables and lining the basketball court, and maybe painting the backboards. Council agreed it was a good idea and gave their approval. The mayor asked council for a motion to accept the 2013 propane purchase proposal from Earhart. Earhart was the lowest rate at $1.30 per gallon. With Earhart, we do have to pre-buy, tying up extra money. Do not have to pre-buy, tying up extra money until year end. Warner made the motion to go with Earhart over the other 2 bids, seconded by Spain. All members in favor. Motion passed. The mayor explained to council the White Cloud, also known as Pass, the small white truck used to pick up trash, water flowers, and other miscellaneous jobs, and which was donated to us in the 90s by the sheriff, is no longer running. He asked for a motion to see about purchasing a Ford Ranger or S10 pickup at a replacement under $5,000. Spain made the motion, seconded by Warner. Motion passed 4-0 with Brown voting no. The trees have been treated and repaired. A question regarding propane gas for our community. And we do not want to be the owner, so we will probably package with regraft in 1 to 2 years. Under policing report was provided but not presented as they had a call and had to leave. With no further business, Beach moved to adjourn, seconded by Spain. All in favor. Citizens attending were noted.
You all have heard the minutes of the last scheduled meeting. Is there any additions, deletions, or corrections? If not,
That one, it'd be 4-1 instead of 4-0.
another correction. Just the sentence before you get under police, you move on to national for the community. Instead of person.
Yes. Okay, you'll stand with the corrections noted. You don't have to. Okay. Next, I'd like to introduce Craig Evans from Champaign County EMA and 911 Center Operations Board. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. My name is Craig Evans. I'm the Emergency Management Director for the county. I'll try to speak where everybody can hear me without blowing you out. I am not a practiced or polished speaker by any stretch of the imagination. My job is with Emergency Management in the county. I'm just a retired firefighter paramedic that ended up in the position of emergency management. I never really signed up to go out and promote levies and run through stuff like this, but here I find myself. I think it's important, maybe I can start by explaining kind of who I am, which is the Director of Emergency Management. I want to let you know that even though I'm going to be up here promoting the levy, an additional $500,000, it does not benefit me, not personally, not my office. Whether the levy passes or fails does not affect me or emergency management. What it does affect is the 911 center and the ability of them to take calls in and then communicate those calls out to the first responders that then come to your homes and offices and things like that. That's where we need the $500,000, 0.5. There's some literature going around that'll explain the dollars and cents. The reason I bring up myself in a way, you don't know me from Adam, and I know this, but one of the things I would like to share with you is at least one thing I'm very proud of, is that I still operate my office off a budget that was created in 1992. In 1992, they established the County Office of Emergency Management. They funded that with $1 per capita, and that's still what it's funded with today. There's been no additional money asked for. I have never come back to the voters for money for my office. And I would challenge you with any group out there, whether they're public agencies or whoever, ask them if they're still operating off a budget in 1992. I think it would be hard to find. I share that with you not to brag, but to at least try to give you some proof that I am fiscally conservative. I am very careful with the money that's basically given to me. I consider it a real stewardship of your money, and I'm careful with it. Now, with that said, my job with the 911 center is I'm on an operations board that oversees the operation of that center to make sure it's functioning as well as it can based on our needs and the money we have. And in doing that, I serve on a board with, it's not just me, it's the sheriff is on that board, the police and fire chief of Urbana, and then you have an elected fire chief that sits on that board, who is Bob Hoey from Christiansburg. So we all five, none of us benefit from the levy, none of us lose any money from the levy whether it passes or fails. But the reason I feel obligated to come out to you is because I do know the impact of what it means if the levy does not pass this November. Basically, we need about $850,000 to be healthy. We are bringing in about $700,000. So we have to make about $150,000 in cuts. In trying to prepare for this, we cut last year's budget down to $813. And what that basically means is we cut out all of our training within the dispatch center, except for the emergency medical dispatching, which still teaches dispatchers to be able to tell people over the phone how to take care of a choking victim, how to take care of someone that's having a heart attack and do CPR. So we hung on to that, but we had to dump the rest of the training. We also dumped a lot of our equipment to get from $800,000, where we're at right now, and unhealthy, to $7. It's going to cost us personnel. It's going to cost us that emergency medical dispatching and things like that. I did not want to come out and make it sound like I'm threatening that this is going to happen. I feel like it's my obligation to come out though and say, this is the reality. These are the funds that we need. I can only tell you that they will be used wisely. I set my own record in EMA as an emergency manager. I would share my budget with you and show you how I've spent the money. I have no fear of that. I think you'll see I've used the funds wisely. I intend that would still be done. We would be careful in how that money's spent. No bells, buzz. I call it a Spartan approach. No bells, buzzers, or whistles. But I want to be able to take calls in a timely manner with people not being put on hold. And I want to be able to dispatch out equipment with enough people that can monitor those first responders in the field to make sure that they're okay. So, and unfortunately, it takes X amount of dollars to do that. So I feel obligated again for me to come out here and say, I can work, and I think, I know Mr. Yoder's on our fiscal board that oversees it. So feel free to ask him about the dollars and cents behind what we're trying to do here. I can tell you that with it, it would make us healthier. It would give us a full staffing, which we're not at right now. I can see the degradation that's taking place already because of the cuts, a lower performance because of a lack of training already. I'm in there every day so I can see this. I don't want it to get worse. And I don't mean to get emotional. I mean, I'm an ex-firefighter. I ran into burning buildings for a living. But I was also a medic and got to experience a lot of that side of things. And I tell you, to break my heart if we lose emergency medical dispatching. But I also understand that we only have so much money. That's all we've all got. There's data I've tried to share with you. $500,000 basically means that for a $100,000 home, it'll cost you about $0.05 a day. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but for some people I realize it's another $0.05 a day. And for some people like me, it's just, I'm tired of giving my nickels out. But I think, again, obligated. I feel like I had a duty to come in here and explain, at least, we need this levy if you want a healthy communication system. One of the things I will share is we are blessed, actually, of having a combined and consolidated center. There's very few people in my position as EMA that can go to one spot in an emergency, like a high wind event or something, and get all that communication from all over the county into that one area. It's huge. And I hate to see us break that down and go backwards. But if that's all we can do, I'm willing to steer that ship. But no one in here, at least I hope, can look me in the eye after this and say, we didn't see that coming. I called 911 and got on hold, and I didn't see that coming. I feel like I've at least fulfilled that obligation to tell you there's hard times, we need some help, and I'm asking you for it. That's the best I can do, Randy, I hope. Anything you help me with?
One thing I would add is the fact that the 911 center in Champaign County is actually kind of a model for many other counties and communities that actually look to Champaign County as far as what we've done and how we operate. Springfield, I believe, is right now looking at Springfield Park County, if I remember right, is looking to Champaign County as a model for where they want to go for their 911 center. So it is something to be proud of. When it was initially done and put together, they were guaranteed that X amount of millage would fund and operate it for, I don't say indefinitely for a long period of time, but that millage never generated what it was certified to generate. So we've always operated in somewhat of a shortfall all these years. The plus side was they were able to collect money for half a year before the operations went into, or the center went into operations, and that little bit of carryover has kind of kept everybody's head above water, so to speak. The other thing I want to talk about is Craig hit on the degradation of the equipment. It is a state-of-the-art facility, and what's going to happen is the maintenance contracts on equipment are going to be some of the first things to go. So some of those pieces of equipment that we spend a lot of time, money, and effort on to achieve and make things better will slowly degrade and not be functional. So eventually it will work itself down to a couple phone lines and a couple people sitting there instead of all the other stuff that they have to make things safer and easier for the law enforcement, the fire, and EMS.
Thank you. Yeah, I can tell you, there's a farmer over at Catawba right now that was cutting a tree down that fell on him. That's thankful we have a mapping system that tracks cell phones, because that's how we found them. And that actually is a true story. I mean, that's something that some of the technology we have right now has helped. I've been in this business over 30 years. I lived in the day when the fire guys had their own frequencies, EMS had their own frequencies, law enforcement had their own frequencies. We didn't talk to each other. We have come so far in 30 years. We actually have a hub now, and we all talk to each other. It's all ran out of the same place. And Andy's right. We're kind of a model, you know. And as a comparable, I don't want to make it a comparable, but Clark County, the county, excluding the city, they're organizing right now to try to combine Clark County. Right now, they have 2 centers like we used to have. The county outside the city is running about 80,000 calls a year, which is equivalent to our run volume, and they're doing it on $1.3 million. And we're asking for $850,000. And I'm telling you, we can do it for that. We don't need $1.3 million. We can do it as effectively for that, but we need that if you want the deliverables like the mapping and the emergency medical and things like that. That's what it will take.
The Code Red, not the storm warning Code Red, but the other one, Code Red, that, you know, notifies people of bull advisories or prisoner escapes or,
Yes.
you know, things like that. That
That will be gone.
That will be gone also.
So, again, the last thing, I've got to try, and not being a polished speaker, I know I got to walk this line of not sounding threatening, or that, you know, we're going to take your football if you don't pass the school day, you know, or something like that. I don't mean to make it sound like that. But I worry that's how I'll come off. And really all I'm trying to do is say, here are the facts. Can you support it? I hope so. If you can't, then we'll do business another way. Is that, any questions? Yes, sir.
Curiosity, if you're in this Champaign County area and you have a cell phone and dial 911, where does your cell phone call go?
It's going to be, yeah, depending on the tower that you hit.
So we had an incident a week and a half ago, the cell phone called in and we got transferred 3 times and finally wound up back at you guys where we started and then got dispatched.
I'd like to have some more information on that.
Well, I can get you some more information.
Yeah, I can get to the bottom of why you got ricocheted around.
Yeah,
Normally what happens with the cell phone, the closest tower, and then up 2 others will triangulate, and that's how you get within about 4 meters.
we made a phone call here in town, 10 minutes later, the on-staff squad managed to get here.
But I think we're crazy one is if you're in town and you're operating, I think the Smoky Road Tower is still in operation. So for example, you're in town, but you're operating off the tower in Union County, your call may end up going to Union County. Or if you're operating on a Logan County tower, your call initially will go there, and then you do get kind of pinballed around.
Yeah, I was
But-
curious how that worked.
But your phone will go to wherever your tower is, and wherever that tower physically is, that's where that call will go to the 911 center.
If you can give me some details on when, you know, time of day and date, I can look into it for you.
Okay.
If we dial 911 from down around the shop with a cell phone, we could count.
It's tower again.
Yeah, that's just because we're half mile from Union County.
You're in that corner, yeah.
We're a lot closer to them than we are
Well,
to Urbana.
it'll depend on your provider, who the
Yeah.
provider is, where their closest tower is physically, and things like that.
And you tell them where you're located, and while I've had 2 instances to call 911, it's gone to Union County, but immediately, as soon as I tell them where I am, they transfer me back to Champaign.
Yeah, you know, it's not, I mean, there's no 100% solution, including, I mean, the track phones are still a problem as far as actually pinpointing those. Yeah, so it's not 100% fail safe, but it has worked to save lives. It has done that.
And I understand Trevor's problem, because when you're waiting on the squad, it seems like it's forever before they get there.
Oh, I've rode him all the time.
I know.
Yeah. Well, I don't want it to be any longer.
No.
Not on hold, not any of that, so, feel free if you want, if, you know, any more questions come up later on and you need to contact me. Mr. Yoder's got all my contact information, I'd be glad to, address any questions. Yard signs, I can get more in for you. I certainly would appreciate your help. It's, you know, it's going to take your help getting out there and vote to make sure we're supported the way we need it. So thank you. Thanks. Nope, I'm leaving.
There's two right here, Jenny.
Okay, next on our mind is, I'd like to give a thank you to the United Methodist Church for their community service efforts at the Village Park. I was down seeing where the picnic tables were painted, the court, basketball court was redone, so I'd just like to extend a thank you to the Methodist Church, their community service effort.
Excuse me, go ahead, thank you to the Dollar Store for opening and being open till about 10 o'clock at night. That's been real nice. Glad to see they're in town.
Proclamation. Office of the Mayor, proclamation. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law, and whereas September 17, 2013 marks the 226th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention, and whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to this magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate it, and whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now therefore, I, Jason Coran, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the Village of North Lewisburg and the State of Ohio, do hereby proclaim the week as September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution passed in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties. And next, Beggars Night, in conjunction with the Champaign County's Mayor's Association, we decided again on October 31st from 6 to 8, and the entire county will be doing it all on the same night in Champaign County. Yeah, that'll be a Thursday night from 6 to 8. Next under mine is a letter from the NECCFD board. Dear North Lewisburg Village Council, the Northeast Champaign County Fire Board requests your permission to place a Murphy bed inside your community room. For those of you that are not familiar with a Murphy bed, it is an upright cabinet that folds down into a bed. The Murphy bed requires approximately 4 feet 6 inches in width to 1 foot 6 inches in depth. It would sit up against the wall. The administration of the NECCFD has requested that overnight staff be able to open the cabinet and drop down the bed between the hours of 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. In June of this year, the NECCFD board approved a change in pay rates and the scheduling structure with regards to the overnight EMT slot. This was deemed necessary by the board to help ensure the fire districts attempt to staff a minimum of 1 EMT and 1 medic on station 24 hours a day to respond to and be able to transport patients if need be, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. While this change does not guarantee 2 personnel on station, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, it greatly enhances our ability to accomplish this. It also helps to improve the emergency service that we strive to provide to constituents of each of our MVs and guests of the Northeast Champaign County Fire District. With this change, we believe the issue of providing separate sleeping quarters for our personnel has been imperative in order to facilitate a working environment more conducive to the employees of the opposite sex. While there is no law requiring us to provide separate sleeping quarters, we believe it will greatly enhance our ability to staff the fire station with qualified personnel. We understand the community room is rented out on an occasional basis. That priority is always to be given to the renter of the space. We have worked well together in sharing the kitchen and bathroom facilities and passed under the same understanding. We believe we could have as much success with sharing the use of the room with the Murphy bed. We also understand that this can be only be a temporary fix and must pursue a more permanent resolution. We are working, though, a very helpful and exciting transitional period for the NECCFD with the help and guidance of our new administration in the effort to facilitate improved staff recruitment, improved